We have a quorum. A quorum is 40 people. I think we clearly have a quorum. Quorum being present, the meeting is now called to order. First thing we're going to do is Alicia is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Alicia. Gretchen,
Yes.
we have return of service. That's you.
Bill has to read the return of service.
Yep. Richard, Mr. Bastian. What is it? It's Bill Mayo.
Yep.
What's that? Oh, you have it, Bill?
I have
Okay,
it,
thank
yes.
you.
Constable William DeMayo. I attest that the inhabitants of the town of Newbury who are qualified to vote were properly notified and warned of the date, the time, and the location of this meeting. I attest that the inhabitants of the town of Newbury who are qualified to vote were properly notified and warned of the date, the time, and location of this meeting.
So if you have an issue and you can't hear somebody, raise your hand. Let's try to avoid any shouting. I'm going to, well, first of all, I'm the moderator. My name is Dick Bazargan. I live at 76 Green Street. Actually, I don't. I live on, that's where I lived for 30 years. I live in Caldwell Farm, the old folks' home, between Governor's Academy and Triton. I'm going to introduce first the Select Board. The chair is Alicia Greco, who just did the Pledge of Allegiance. Vice Chair, J.R. Colby. Clerk is Dana Packer, Jeff Walker, and Jerry Heavey, who has been on the board for 3 years.
Yes.
And we thank you for your service. I think anybody that's on the board deserves a round of applause, don't you think?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, we have some people here that are not employees of the town, and I need to ask you for a vote after I read them so that we can, they can speak. Lisa Mead, Town Council. Tracy Blaze, Town Administrator. Lillian Craig, Town Accountant. Patricia Fisher, Patty Fisher, Police Chief, yes. Ethan Cohen, PEG Production Specialist. Matthew Cooper, IT Director. Cindy Currier, Council on Aging Director. Brian Forget, Superintendent at Triton. Kyle Warren, Business Manager. Maureen Lynch, Whittier Superintendent. Kara Cosmos, Whittier Business Manager. Jeff Shaw, Context Architecture, and Mark Capadonna, Colonial Power. I am asking for a motion to vote to allow these people to speak.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, that passes. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I missed a few here. Very important people, too. The Finance Committee. The chair is Erica Jacobson. Vice Chair, Marshall Jesperson. Joseph Ali. Jean Case. Thomas Howard. Susan Noyce. And Frank Visconti. Town Clerk is Gretchen. Gretchen Gerard. Planning Director, Martha Taylor. Thank you. Okay.
Lisa said, make sure you sign this.
What do you
and
think?
give it down to her so she can give it to Julie.
Well, a couple things here I can say before everybody gets in.
Have to do.
I want to welcome everyone for coming, and I think you should all be applauded for attending the town meeting and being part of the discussion about our town's future. Let me say that everyone who has something new to say will be recognized. As has been our custom, the person or persons that presented the article will have 5 minutes to explain it in more detail. Anyone who wishes to comment on the article will have 2 minutes to respond. If you wish to speak, please line up at the microphone, state your name and address, and please refer all comments to me. Please refrain from repeating what has already been presented. I will respectfully ask anyone that is restating what has been covered to please step back. I expect and assume that all speakers will be respectful of others, with no personal attacks of any kind. I will shut down any comments that I feel are inappropriate. Please remember that most of the people up here are volunteers who spend many hours a week working in your best interests. We don't need to go, I was just thinking I missed the discussion about the voting, but we don't need to use that. We're going to have to do a count, hand count on the votes. Most of these things will not need a count. I think when we get to the two issues everybody cares about, we will probably have to count, do a hand count. So, how we look out there? Is there still a big line? 40?
40 more.
Hi. Is Bill out there?
He's out of town.
Oh,
He wouldn't just want to see.
yeah. Just to explain, you know, the warrant it's not really that complicated. The warrant is really just an agenda. And on the agenda are the articles which can be placed here by either residents of the town or the board can put them up there. And a motion just asks that the article be moved forward. Motion and a second to move it forward.
These are better.
We've got some things here that I'm hoping we can move through very quickly. I'm going to make an effort to move through them very quickly. So if I don't want to answer your question, I'll just move on. I'm kidding. I hope everybody will get to speak, as I said, without repeating things multiple times. We don't need a vote on Article 1, to meet in our respective voting districts on Tuesday, May 9th, 2023. The polls will open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. to vote on the following offices. Precinct 1 will vote in the Firefighters Memorial Hall, 3 Morgan Avenue, and Precinct 2, Newbury Town Library, Lunt Street. I don't think I need to read all of these people that are running. You can see who's running, or you can see not who's running, but what the office is and how many, what the term is and how many people are that we need to vote for in those positions. We don't need to vote for this. This is just informational. Now we're going to receive reports of the Select Board, School Committee, Regular and Special Committee, and all other town offices. And the Chair, Alicia Greco, is going to take us through that.
I move that the town accept the reports of the town officers, boards, and committees as printed on the 2022 town report without ratification or authorization of any action.
So we'll start with Robin Lawson, Newbury Town Day Report. Robin? Robin? Is she here? Oh, yeah, okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Robin Lawson. I'm of Byfield. I'm co-chair of Newbury Town Day, and also the incoming chair of the Newbury Cultural Council. Before I get started, I'd like to acknowledge the dedication and leadership of the outgoing co-chairs, secretary, and treasurer of the Newbury Cultural Council. Just 2 people serving all those roles, Amy Thurlow and Michelle Ouellette. I appreciate that round of applause, but I only have 3 minutes. The first Newbury Town Day went pretty well. Here's what we're building on from last year. To keep engaging people from all over town to plan activities and participate, to expand activities to attract more participants, especially families and teens from Newbury and beyond, and bring everyone together to showcase our town's rich history, talent, people, and places. Next slide, please. Based on feedback, here's what's changed for 2023. A late summer date, August 26th, which is the weekend before Labor Day, largely to encourage more teen participation, better than June for them. Also, more centralization with activities at Plum Island Airport, Spencer Pierce Little Farm on 1A, off 1A, historic sites, and in Byfield. So what's on the drawing board so far? Keep in mind that some of these are confirmed and some of them are just ideas. So I'll take a few minutes and let you read my slide. Oh, you can't read my slide. Well, kicking off with a pancake breakfast, open artist studios at Spencer Pierce Little Farm, vintage baseball with brass band, tours of the police and fire stations, Council on Aging open house, a vintage cars show probably in Byfield on Friday night, historical tours free to Newbury residents of the historic New England properties, as well as the schoolhouse on the Lower Green and the First Settlers Burial Ground. I'll stop there. That's the left column. One thing that we really would like some energy and ideas for is competition and games for kids and grown-ups. What we'd like to see is competitions between organizations in town, sports teams, and neighborhoods. So we need your ideas. What's the funding for? Well, pre-event, we have communications and promotion, but one thing that we're doing different this year is we're going to put banners on main roads around town and also to have yard signs. And then at the event, police detail, photography, rentals, and whatnot. So what can you do? Get involved. Please come with your ideas and help in planning at the town-wide brainstorming meeting taking place Saturday, the 6th of May, from 9:30 to 11 a.m. at the Byfield Community Arts Center. You can form or join an activity team and spread the word. Please pick up postcards on your way out. Ta-da!
I'd like to recognize somebody that is a really good friend of the town of Newbury and the Triton school system. Bruce Tarr. Hi. Go ahead. Let them know.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, and through you to the members of town meeting. I know that you have a lot to consider tonight, and so I'm going to be uncharacteristically brief. I wanted to let you know just a couple things. Number one, I want to thank everybody for coming out to town meeting. This is a true demonstration of democracy in action, and you are all to be congratulated for it. Number two, just as you will be deciding on budgetary matters this evening, we in the legislature are in the process of developing the state budget for the coming fiscal year and spending approximately $56 billion of your money. And as a result of that, while I am able to be here tonight, the House of Representatives is debating that budget as we speak. And so Representative Kasner is unable to be here because she's fighting for us on Beacon Hill. And she wanted me to let you know that she has already had accepted in the House version of the budget $20,000 for the roof repairs to this building. And she is also pursuing $75,000 for Great Marsh restoration and green crab eradication, and she will be continuing to pursue those. Now, it's important to know that those are in the House version of the budget. We've got a long way to go. The budget comes to us in May, and we will be working with the town administrator and the finance committee and the select board to ensure that your priorities are something that we try to advance in the Senate version of the budget as well. That all being said, I will do something that's very hard for me, Mr. Moderator, which is relinquish the microphone, but not before I recognize how very dapper you look tonight and congratulate you on that. Thank you all very much.
He and I have the same problem. I hate to give the mic up also. So, we're going to hear from, well, Jessica, we don't need to hear from, do we? But we do need to hear from Erica Jacobson, who is the Finance Committee Chair and is going to give us the Finance Committee report.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. And a deep, deep, heartfelt thank you to such a full room tonight. I am amazed and very happy to see so many people who could come out on a Tuesday night and be here to take part in our democracy. It's very important. It's something that I feel is very important, and everyone who's here, thank you for coming. In light of our late start, I'm going to try to breeze through this as quickly as possible. I am here as the chair of the Finance Committee. And as we will ask everybody, my name is Erica Coles Jacobson. I live at 7 South Pond Street in Newbury. As we go through tonight, the real rule of Finance Committee is to be the eyes and ears of you, the voters, throughout the year for all things that come before the town financially. So in that case, we take that very, very seriously. That's a strong responsibility. We ask questions throughout the year. Members of our committee serve on the District Communications Committee, which works with the school committee and representatives of the Finance Committee and select boards of the 3 towns of Triton. Our Capital Planning Committee, we have representatives too. We are throughout, and we are all volunteer. We also really want to hear from people when there's questions. I've had great conversations over the last couple of weeks, questions about different warrant articles, town hall, and we are open meetings. Please come see us throughout the year. Tonight, what I want to do is give a really quick overview of the town meeting. So we'll go, slide 2. This is how we do our business. So regardless of how many meetings you've been to before, it never hurts to have a quick refresher on how things goes. By law, each town in Massachusetts has to have an annual town meeting. It's each town. And here in Newbury, the date is selected by the select board. And then how this works is that the business or the agenda of each town meeting is contained in an article, in a document known as the warrant. Think of it as the way to warn the voters or residents of the items to be discussed. This will include articles, which the town will act on at that particular town meeting, as well as the date, time, place of the town meeting. The select board approves and issues the warrant. The articles will be addressed in the order they are approved, and any action taken at town meeting is not valid unless the article is listed on the warrant. Once the warrant is closed and signed by the select board, no other business can be brought before the town meeting. The language is legally drafted and reviewed by town council. Warrants are posted on the main board within town offices, as well as locations and polling locations 1 week before annual town meeting, 2 weeks before a special. Copies are available at town hall. They're also at the website and throughout. After the warrant articles are approved, the Finance Committee comes in and reviews each article, asks questions, discusses amongst ourselves, and votes to recommend or not recommend. Our rationales are then presented in the Finance Committee booklet that you received on your way in. Those have been published on the town website for a couple of weeks. Our votes are recorded in a yay, nay, abstain in the booklet. So if you see a 5-0-0, it means of our committee, 5 voted in favor of recommending, 0 opposed, 0 abstained. We are a 7-person group. At one of our meetings this year, we had 5 voting members. This second meeting to talk specifically around Article 18 of Town Hall, we're 6 voting members. So tonight, the Select Board will be making motions. The motions that are spoken here that Alicia, other members of the Select Board will be bringing up are what we'll be voting on. For the financial matters, the motions will include the amount and the funding source. It will sound something like this. I move that the town vote to transfer the sum of $200,000 from free cash to be added to the other post-employment benefits trust account. The amount will be clearly stated. There is no mention of the words of any other sum. That's warrant article language, not motions. And the funding source, free cash in that example, is identified. Once the motion is made and seconded, the floor will be open for discussion, and here, our moderator's in charge. If you wish to speak, please approach the microphone, and the comments may be addressed by the members of the Select Board, Finance Committee, Town Council, or moderator, depending on our area and skills of expertise. So, talking about the budget, usually the biggest thing in our articles. This year, our town budget for operating budget is $23.4 million. This is a balanced budget. By law, it has to be. This will be what we're voting on in Article 5. This is all of the monies used to run the town. Money's in, money's out. Like I said, I'm trying to go through this quickly this year. So, on slide 4, this is for our fiscal year 2024, we are here to talk about tonight. This is how our total revenues, again, $23.4 million. 77% of that comes from property tax. That is standard, about the same as it's been for the last 10 plus years that I've been involved here. State aid, sorry, that's a really small percentage of only 5%, and we'd love to see more. Thank you. Come on, a little bit more for us. That would be really, really helpful. Local receipts, those are the things we pay in our fees to, for the improvements we do in our home. That's where that comes from. And other available funds, those are from our other places, such as our free cash, stabilization, other accounts that are there as well. So, all in all, the slices of this pie have not changed significantly in the past 10 years. Our operating budget does rely primarily on property taxes. Then, slide 5, which is our fiscal year 2024, this is our operating expenses. This pie chart has not changed much either in the past 10 years. 50% of our town budget goes to education. That goes to educating the children in this community, including my own children who are here, and a soon-to-be very tall, but soon-to-be Triton grad who's been here volunteering tonight. Our education is not just Triton, though. It also includes Whittier and the Essex North Shore Agricultural and Tech. Our Triton operating assessment is based on a state formula with the other 3 towns that has a state formula that has a minimum local contribution and then cost sharing between the 3 towns based on our percentage of student enrollment. This year, Newbury has the smallest percentage of student enrollment in the Triton budget, so our assessment was proportionally in line with what we have for students there. The other pieces are municipal and our benefits cost, and then debt service. Debt service has to do with what we are paying on bonds that have been issued and those debt exclusions. Currently, that is the 2 bonds that were issued for a total of $8.2 million for the police station. For fun, or not just for your information, the piece of taxes, it's approximately for the average taxpayer, it's about $80 is going towards that debt service. So of the average tax bill, which is about $6,400 on the average single family tax bill here, $80 of that is going towards debt. So tonight, Article 5 is going to be the operating budget, and I will say that the Finance Committee voted 5-0 to recommend. It's accurately been estimated for our revenues and accurately estimated for the amount of operating expenses that we will need. So that is one of the big votes tonight, is approving the operating budget. Our other revolving funds and other funded accounts, these are special accounts that are they are funded by the receipts they bring in. So the PEG is where the money comes in from the Comcast. That money is used to fund the expenses, and we replenish that each year. Same with recreation and waterway revolving funds come from the receipts collected by recreation or by the harbor master. And Article 10 is the Ambulance Enterprise Fund, which is a self-funded ambulance service that we then use we charge for it, that monies go back and pay for the expenses associated with it. In terms of the funds that we have, tonight you'll be hearing about some articles that will be coming from free cash, stabilization. Those are the two we'll be talking about tonight. The land sale fund is there. We are not touching that tonight at town meeting. It has $58,000. That is when we've sold parcels, we can then use them for capital needs. The reserve fund, this is an established account. Basically, kind of think of it as emergency savings a little bit. We sometimes on the finance committee will be asked to fund unforeseen emergencies. They usually are in the neighborhood of, they just are like, you know, a set of stairs that we didn't think failed has to be dealt with immediately. That comes to the finance committee to vote on at a public meeting. Free cash. Anything to move money from free cash requires a majority vote of town meeting. That's you all. Anything to fund from stabilization requires a 2/3 majority. So our current balance in free cash is $3.4 million. Stabilization is $277,672. We will be moving money into and out of stabilization tonight, or putting that up for a vote. Tonight, we're going to be looking at some capital or one-time expenses on Article 7, 12, 13, and 14. You can look in the book on those. All of these are, have gone through our capital planning committee, which means that they have identified, they have looked at this, and they have put it up as being a dedicated need. It's been put on the warrant by the select board, and then our votes for approving are also documented in the appropriations booklet. That is where we're at. There are going to be a couple of other big issues on the agenda. Article 17 and 18 are dealing with town hall, and we'll be talking about those when they come up. But one of the things I will say is that Article 17, which is transfer of funds from free cash to the town hall account, if this is approved, it'll put more than $5 million set aside by the voters at town meeting over the past 5 years. If we pass all of the articles as done tonight, slide 11 here, will show the ending balances. So even after, if we approve everything here tonight, we still end up in a very healthy place for reserves. One of the reasons that's really important to have a strong operating budget, follow firm financial principles and financial management, and to have healthy balances in our reserve funds is because it helps us maintain a AAA bond rating, which means when we go out to borrow money for significant investments, we do it at the lowest possible cost. It's like the equivalent of having an excellent credit score. We want to have that. So by using these policies throughout the year, we're helping set the stage to set up Newbury to be on firm financial footing. In 2010, we had a negative free cash balance. That means we were running in the red. Things have really come around. We've actively been working diligently, and all of the voters here at town meeting have been that as well, is that we've been working to a really strong financial footing. Thank you all. Treat each other with kindness and respect, assume positive intent, and my last thing is think about this in a we before me mode tonight. Thank you very much.
Article 3. By the way, we got two big articles, 17 and 18, coming. So I'm going to try and get us through these first 16 as quickly as possible with your help. Article 3, to see if the town will fix the salaries and compensation of certain elected officers of the town. JR.
I move that the town fix the salaries and compensation of the elective officers as listed in Article 3.
Second.
I want a show of hands, please, not just a yes or a no. All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. All opposed? Okay, that passes, obviously. Okay, we have a citizen's petition here, the person who is bringing this forward is here, I understand? Okay.
Hello, I'm Cynthia Raschke of 12 Colby Lane. And this is the warrant to support the commission that is looking into changing the state seal of Massachusetts. I will very briefly speak on this. A town such as Newbury with a heritage of European settlement that's one of the oldest in the country would value a state seal that's historically accurate. The current seal was somewhat hastily adapted and originally supposed to show a Revolutionary War patriot before the image was changed to an Indian whose face is not a native of Massachusetts, but of Montana. We have a full agenda tonight, and the resolution is very well spelled out in the warrant. So I'll close by saying let's support the commission that was appointed by then Governor Baker, appointed to recommend changes to the seal of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Thank you. Article 5.
Vote.
We do? Oh, I guess we have to vote on this article. I didn't realize that. Okay. All in favor of the citizen's position, please raise your hand. All opposed? I think it passes. It passes. Thank you. Article number 5. Dana.
Article number 5, motion. I move that the town raise and appropriate the sum of $22,971,525 and transfer $443,752 from the Special Assessment Fund to fund the operation of the town in fiscal year 2024.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, a show of hands. I'm sorry. Any discussion or debate? Any questions on this? Seeing none, all in favor, raise your hand, please. Thank you. All opposed? Passes. Thank you. Okay, Article 6. Jerry?
I move that the town raise and appropriate the sum.
Jerry, right up to the
All
mic. Get close.
Okay. I move that the town raise and appropriate the sum of $150,000 to be added to the stabilization fund.
Second.
We have a motion and a second? We did. Okay, any discussion or debate? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Thank you. Article 7. Jeff?
I move that the town transfer the sum of $200,000 from free cash to be added to the other post-employment benefits trust account.
Second.
Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Passes. Thank you. Article 8.
I move that the town appropriate the sum of $95,000 from the receipts reserved cable television PEG Access Special Revenue Fund to support PEG access services and programming.
Second.
Any discussion or debate? Hearing none. All in favor? All opposed? You're doing very well, folks. Thank you. Article 10. I'm sorry, Article 9. JR?
I move that the town authorize the total expenditures for the following revolving funds for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023, to be expended in accordance with Chapter 35 of the Code of the Town of Newbury. Recreation Revolving Fund, $50,000. And Municipal Waterway Improvement and Maintenance Fund, $59,553.
Second.
Any discussion or debate? All in favor? All opposed? Thank you, that passes. Article 10. Dana.
Of course, I get the long one. I move that the town appropriate the following sums of money to operate the ambulance enterprise fund. Salary and wages, $115,500. Expenses, $98,364. Capital outlay, $12,000. Debt service is $0. Insurance, $5,000. Medicare, $2,195. Indirect costs, $62,518. Extraordinary unforeseen, $12,000. Prior year deficit is $0. The total is $307,577. And further, that $307,577 be raised as follows. Departmental receipts of $3,577.
So this is a self-liquidating expense.
Second.
Any discussion or debate? All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. Article 11. Jerry.
I move that the town transfer from free cash the sum of $6,039.43 to pay the following outstanding debt from fiscal year 2022. Morton Salt, $6,039.43.
Okay,
Second.
so let me just add something here. This is $6,000 that we're trying to appropriate here, but it requires a 4/5 vote. Go figure. So, did we get a second and a, okay. Any discussion or debate on this? All in favor? All opposed? Wonderful, thank you. It passed, yes. Article 12. Jeff.
I move that the town transfer from free cash the sum of $50,000 to purchase firearms for the police department.
Second.
Any discussion or debate? All in favor? All opposed? Thank you, that passes. Thank you. Article 13. Alicia.
I move that the town transfer from free cash the sum of $11,000 to purchase solar-powered speed signs.
Second.
Any discussion or debate? All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. That passes. Article 14. JR.
I move that the town transfer from free cash the sum of $13,500 to purchase flashing crosswalk beacon systems.
Second.
Any discussion or debate? All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. That passes. Yep. 15, 16.
It would be me.
15. I'm sorry. Article 15. Dana.
I move that the town transfer the sum of $150,000 from the stabilization fund to make repairs to the Newbury Elementary School roof.
Second.
Second.
This requires a 2/3 vote. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none. All in favor? That's great. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. That vote was unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Article 16. Jerry.
Yes. I move that the town transfer the sum of $72,645 from the stabilization fund to purchase a dump truck.
Second.
Any discussion or debate? All in favor? This required a 2/3 vote. I think we clearly have that. Anybody opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Article 17. Jeff.
I move that the town transfer the sum of $1 million from free cash to the town hall project account.
Second.
Any discussion or debate? Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Before we begin that, before we vote on this, I'm going to ask Bob Connors, who is the chair of the building committee, Jeff Shaw, who's our architect, Erica and Marshall from the finance committee to talk about these two issues, really. Thank you.
Okay, do you have the slides?
Is this what you...
Perfect, yeah. So they're numbered 1, 2, I'll just call them on it.
All right.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Bob Connors. I'm the chairman of the Municipal Building Committee. I live at 39. Okay. Very rarely do I have an inside voice, but apparently I'm not close enough to the mic. Good evening. My name's Bob Connors. I live at 39 Annapolis Way, Newbury. I'm chairman of the Municipal Building Committee. I want to recognize the other members of our committee, Eric Svahn, John Keller, Dana Packer, and Martha Taylor. Tonight we will address the permanent needs of Newbury's Town Hall. It's time. Slide 1, please. It's time. We have long recognized, going back to 2006 master plan, that the current structure at 25 High Road has operated well past its planned lifespan. Town employees moved out of the facility in office trailers after health concerns were identified in 2016 into temporary office space that doesn't fully address the town's needs. Due diligence. The Municipal Building Committee has explored several potential sites and considered various development locations and options. Location. 25 High Road is the site that's recommended. It is conveniently situated for all residents in the heart of the Newbury Historic District. The district buildings have served as the community center of Newbury for many years and is a fitting location for the long-awaited Newbury Town Hall project and will help preserve and enhance this historic district for years to come. In addition, all services are present to support the building: water, sewer, gas, and electric. Okay, the size. The Municipal Building Committee recommends building a new 2.5-story town hall to meet the programming needs that will address Newbury's projected growth over the next 30 years and beyond as the most cost-effective and aesthetically compatible with the neighborhood while reducing potential traffic problems. The existing footprint of 25 High Road is about 4,000 square feet. The proposed footprint of the new building is 5,000 square feet. Cost. The current estimate. How about slide 7? Okay. Cost. The current estimate of probable cost is $11,575,000. We have saved approximately $4 million for the town hall needs in the past. We have approximately $440,000 remaining in the police station project account. And tonight, we will consider adding another $1 million to the town hall fund reducing borrowing costs. Tonight, many residents will speak in favor and support of Articles 17 and 18, and others will appeal to delay the project, look for less costly alternatives, or open the site selection process again. In doing our due diligence, we have examined each of the proposed sites and have not passed one as viable alternative to 25 High Road. We also examined the alternative of renovating and expanding the existing building versus constructing a new building. The new building is a clear winner in both cost, functionality, and aesthetics. Friends, it's 17 years later, it's time to build a town hall. Vote yes on Article 17 and 18. It is the best decision possible for Newbury's future.
Okay, I want to just point out a couple of things here. First of all, we're not, oh, Eric.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Thank you to everyone on the Municipal Building Committee. They have done a ton of work over the past year, but it's not just been a year. This has been going on since 2006 was the first time this was identified, so just a little bit of history. So thank you very much for your service this time around. What I want to do is focus a little bit on the Finance Committee. We did a vote to recommend of this Article 18 to fund the design, construction, reconstruction, finishing, and equipment of a new town hall. The 6 members of our committee were present and voted unanimously to recommend this. This was after we spent 2 hours going through every article we already went through. We then met for a second time specifically with the Municipal Building Committee on a Friday and spent 2 hours grilling Bob and others to really get to the meat of it. We needed to be sure that this was the right thing. We came in with 3 main questions, and I'm going to talk about those. Marshall's then going to talk a little bit about some of the money pieces and some of the alternatives. But the first question was, is this the right size building? It feels big. You look at the picture, you're like, oh, looks big. We live around the corner from it. Do I want that big a building? You know what? We sat down, we listened to how they came up with the space requirements. The building with a 500 square foot footprint and then the square footage to maintain the elevator, the mechanicals, 2 stairwells, all of the functional meeting and working space to support the needs of the residents of the town, the employees, and to comply with all of the state requirements that those employees are there to provide for us. We need to keep records in a vault. We need to have a vault. That has to be part of the square footage. Each of those pieces we went through and we understood how they built that. They didn't just say, oh, somebody says we need, an office that is 120 square feet. We went through and said, does someone who's in the office, is an inspector, do they just need a desk? Can we make a small cubicle? We went through that with them and looked at what we have at the 12 Kent Way temporary office spaces to see what that meant. And then when you look at deciding, well, we only have, 7,000 square feet over there, well, it's because we don't have the infrastructure, those pieces, the stairwells, the elevators, all of those things. The reason we really cared about is this the right size is because your costs are based on your square footage. So our estimates are only as good as our estimates on our size. If we don't have the size right, we aren't going to get the price tag right. And these guys and this committee did a great job of really getting buy-in of what is the right size building. So this will be 2 floors of usable office meeting space. It's using a little bit less space than industry standards through an innovative approach to adequately plan for the usability of the building to serve the residents of the town, with the 3rd floor for the mechanicals and record storage. Bob has drilled this into how all of us who have been through these meetings, is you no longer put those mechanicals in the basement. You put them on the 3rd floor so that they're protected, so that they're not going to be subject to flooding and groundwater issues. So yes, we are convinced, right size. Next, is this the right location? We've heard a lot of things about where the founding fathers put it, but really it comes down to a few things for us. We own the lot. It's centrally located. It is equipped with setups for water and sewer. There was a meeting in 2012 where members of, I think Jeff was there, I was there, Bob was there, Jean, Marshall, members of committees met and talked about sites. We met at the library. And that night, after a long, expensive meeting where we talked about a number of sites, we decided that it really made sense to, most feasibly and fiscally responsible, was to put this somewhere that has water, sewer, and infrastructure. 25 High Road has that. We own the lot. It's set up to be tied in, and we've already set it up with water and sewer connections. So anytime we think if we want to take this size building and put it somewhere else, because I'm going to hear a lot of things that people have told me, well, we should put it here, we should put it there. Add in, take the cost of the building that you see here, add in the cost to buy the plot of land, add water, add sewer. Certain things that we've talked about of due diligence is that there's certain places that we looked at that the town owns. They didn't perk, which means we can't put in sewer, so it didn't get moved forward. The due diligence of that vetting list goes down. That's where we end up back at 25 High Road. Not only is it centrally located, there's amazing synergies about having our police and fire and our town offices in one location. So yes, did we decide location? Yes, this is the right location. Time. Is this the right time to be doing this? I would argue the right time to do this was probably a few years ago. In 2006, the master plan identified that the structure at High Road was nearing the end of its useful lifespan. We had to put in trailers, temporary trailers, just to meet the needs of the town operations at the time. That was 2006. In 2012, many of the people who were in this room helped with the town hall rehab that was done by volunteers and donations. This was notably during the time when our DPW had been condemned. It was unusable due to delayed maintenance. We understood there was a delayed maintenance problem. Thence the trailers. However, in 2015, the trailers were condemned. We didn't move out of town hall willingly. We moved out because we had to. We weren't allowed by the state to bring in more trailers because the trailers we had were temporary. And we had used them well beyond temporary. So on July 16th, 2016 was the last Board of Selectmen's meeting at Town Hall at 25 High Road. And yes, we called them the Board of Selectmen. That's changed. Now it's the Select Board. Since that time, the rent, utilities, and associated build-out and moving costs have cost the town $1,287,000 to be in rented temporary office space. During that time, the Municipal Building Committee vetted 5 options for a public safety complex at Morgan Ave. That $12.5 million project, which would have been a multi-use building, passed at annual town meeting and failed at the polls, so it didn't go forward. 2017 is when special town meeting approved the standalone police station, and then that was rebid because the $8.2 million, that came about in 2019. We heard loud and clear that there wasn't an appetite for a combined building. It was wanted to be phased. Phase 1, get the police into a good building, get them taken care of. Phased approach, we heard that over and over. Phase 1, police have a great new building. Right size, right location. It's now time in this phased approach to build a town hall. So the Finance Committee, understanding the three questions that were in front of us is this the right size? Is it the right location? Is it the right time? I would argue that it is definitely the right time. Now, I'm going to turn over to Marshall to talk about the other aspects of this. So on those soft places. Thank you.
Thank you. Marshall Jesperson, Vice Chair of the Finance Committee. I live at 169 Elm Street in Byfield. So in looking through this, we, on April 7th, after extensive discussion, we voted unanimously to approve this building. Now, I looked at the alternatives that people had brought forward. People had talked about leasing or renting space and continuing to stay in there. They had talked about escalators between 2% and 3%. We are looking at a bond cost of 5%. And so I ran the numbers, some of the things that were important. If we build a new building, it's going to be around for a minimum of 60 years. I did a study of municipal buildings in Massachusetts. It turns out that the average of a selection of buildings was just over 100 years old. Of those buildings, 80% were still in use. So we shortened that up to 60 years as a design criteria and for our calculations. And whether you escalate the rent at 2% that we're paying now or 3%, we are millions of dollars better off building a new building, moving into it, and having it at a minimum of 60 years. Now, most of these other buildings we had looked at were considerably older than 60 years. And so in the most conservative way possible, it's not even a question. One, it's a building that the town owns rather than rents. It is something that is going to be cheaper than leasing for that period of time. And it is something that is functionally built to be a town hall. The aesthetics, you can decide for yourself. But that's where we are, and we think it is a very good solution to this problem. Thank you very much.
Okay, I just want to make a couple of points. First one is that we are not spending $1 million right now. We are moving it into an account so that we are being fiscally responsible, which obviously our Finance Committee is fiscally responsible, so that if and when the event passes, we will have $5 million to take off of the cost of the project, that much less that we have to bond. That's the first thing. So, do I have a motion? What's that? Oh, we already have one. Okay, now here's the thing. Discussion or debate, and if you wish to say something, step up to the microphone here and form a line, and make sure you give me us your name and your address.
Article 17.
Yeah, this is Article 17.
Hi, my name is Keith O'Jerry. I live at 30 Cottage Road. My question is, what is the cost of rent per month that we are currently incurring at our current location?
The rent for fiscal year 2022 was $172,500. We also had utility payments, bringing that total in fiscal year 2022 to $183,337. Over the course of the total time at 12 Kent Way, the total cost, including lease payments to date, utility payments to date, moving costs, and build out, is $1,287,173.42.
Thank you.
Next year, it would go up by another 3%.
Thanks a lot.
I'm Peter Kreisky. I live
Sir,
at 2...
excuse me, I think Jim is next.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's always very brief, so we'll be fine.
Jim Moran, 104 Elm Street. Dick, could I use the platform here?
No.
My vote on Article 17 is no. We have other important needs for free cash. There could be $75 million in current and estimated long-term debt and interest ahead. That would include police station, town hall, Triton facilities, Council on Aging, the Newbury Elementary School, the library roof, and the new Whittier Tech High School. The total amount does not include any work at Cart Creek, Central Street Bridge, River Road Bridge, or the fire station on Morgan Avenue. Free cash needs to be set aside until more is known about the other projects. Vote no on Article 17. Thank you.
Sir. Answer it?
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold for a minute. Marshall?
Try from here. Can you hear me in the back? Okay. Now, Jim brings up a number of issues that are capital issues that are in our future. And it is a reality that we will have these capital issues, and they are not going to go away, but neither is the town hall. Part of the planning process that we have, and why we have a capital improvement plan, is to get a handle on these, to figure out how we're going to do these projects as efficiently as possible. Now, a number of things have been brought up as far as capital projects. And when we went through them and went back through the capital plan, we had in our work discovered either programs or grants that would allow us to lower the burden to the taxpayer in Newbury for all of these. They are going to come down, but there is no question about it. Our work is to make sure that we do the best job to get either grants or programs or anything else we can to make sure that we get done what we need to get done in a way that keeps the tax burden as low as possible. The town hall needs to get done. We have saved, and if we pass 17, over $5 million to get that done. So thank you very much.
Third time lucky. I'm Peter Kreisky. I live at 255 High Road, and
You have to get close to that.
First time in my life. I'm Peter Kreisky. I live at 255 High Road, and I actually have just a number of questions, but really it's one overall question, which is I'd like to understand how the space has been designed and how flexible that space is, because we've all observed how work habits have changed and how the amount of space you need to carry out the same tasks has changed with technology. And it would be very good to understand if there's space which is available to residents to use as well. But most importantly, if in over the next few years, it becomes clear that we don't need a third of the space, that we can rent it out easily, and so have that flexibility and not be burned with the space that we don't need over the long term. So I saw some slides passing by that showed layout, but we didn't actually stop and look at them. So I just wonder if we could spend a few minutes on that.
Bob?
Four, 5, and 6. So we'll start with 4 first.
Okay, you're going to need to call them out when you want me to switch.
Okay, Bob Connors, great question. Did everybody get a handout? We run out of copies on these. Okay, if you turn to the third page of your handout, actually go to page 3. Why don't I just go through each one of these pages? This is the site plan that's proposed for 25 High Road. It addresses traffic flow, identifies parking, and it shows equipment enclosures on the site plan. I think it's important to realize that when we're doing a project of a capital nature, this is the first step. When town meeting and the voters decide that this project is a go, we have other approvals that will be obtained. Goes to the planning board for site plan approval, where that they will review all of the lighting, parking requirements, and there'll be public hearings to address that. Okay, if you go to slide 4. Slide 4 is the first floor. It's the furniture and office layout. You can see on each end of the building, there's 2 large conference rooms. Those are meeting rooms. Currently at Kent Way, we have 1 large meeting room where the selectmen typically meet. We have over 205 meetings per year with all the different committees and boards in the town. We're open 4 nights a week. So you can imagine that it's a challenge. Those meeting rooms are sufficient in size to host most meetings, not an annual town meeting, but for most meetings. When you come into the building, the convenience of your town clerk, your assessor, and the tax collector, they're all centrally located when you walk in the front door. We implemented a more innovative approach to office space. The standard for municipal office space used to be 140, 160 square feet per office, and everyone had an office. By today's standards and the system that we implemented in our programming review, full-time office staff and department heads get an office of 120 square feet. Offices no longer have a little round table and 2 meeting chairs. That space is allocated to open area. If you are an administrative assistant or an employee that is not in the office full-time, inspectors of that nature, you're going to be in an office cube of 64 square feet. We have a number of office cubes that are not fully assigned, so that it's touchdown space. If we had an additional couple of employees, or the DPW director needed to go to town hall, he would have a desk in this touchdown space to do his work. He'd be able to leave, but it would be shared space. When you came in, you would need it, but we wouldn't allocate 120 square feet. One of the shortfalls of Kent Way is, by state law, the town clerk is required to have a fireproof vault. It's approximately 450 to 500 square feet. The town, in its wisdom, because the temporary nature of renting offices, wanted to forego the expense of having a safe built at Kent Way and then pay the rental allocation for that. Currently, the town clerk has to go back to 25 High Road for vital documents. So that's 500 square feet, and I forget what the projected cost was. It was going to be in the $200,000 or $250,000 to add that. Okay, if we go to slide 5. On the second floor, you come up the center core elevator in the back lodge room. That's your meeting room. That would be typically what you would do for going to a select board meeting or a planning board meeting where you had a number of public hearings. In the center, over the front portico, is the permitting center for conservation, Board of Health, ISD. When you come up looking for a permit, you'd go to that counter, and then the department head would be able to, whatever department you needed, you'd be able to speak with that person. There's 5 cubicles in that area. Again, it's touchdown space. Plumbing inspector, electrical inspector can come in, be there for a couple of hours, but that's swing space. That's how we get the building down from 14,000 square feet by traditional standards to 10,000 square feet with the innovative standards that we've incorporated. We also, as I said, by reducing the office space, requires us to create a conference room for staff. Can't meet in your office anymore, you need a room to meet. So on the second floor, there is a smaller conference room, for staff meetings. Another feature we added is a select board meetings room. Now, any of you that are familiar with, the process, we can't have a quorum before a meeting. We can't have more than, because of the state law. So when you go to a meeting 15 minutes early, 2 people can talk on the select board. 1 person could be in Tracy's office, other people hanging out in the hallway. So by having a select board meeting room, which could always be used as an office down the road, it provides a select board member time to review the meeting packet for that night and prepare for whatever part of the meeting they're going to be participating in or responding to. If you go to the slide 6, this is the attic area. So it's attic storage, file storage, equipment, technology. This is the layout. What I want to point out is there's 2 stairways that go up to the 3rd floor, and there is an elevator. So keeping in mind that having a slab on grade due to the water conditions and groundwater of that area of High Road and Morgan Ave, we utilize the attic area. But we're adding the stairway and elevator to it so that if at some point down the road we needed additional space for habitable use, we have an option without putting on an addition. The layout is along the front area there. It's file storage for the various departments. It should be noted, Newbury has stored most of its documents in containers. Originally, they were stored down at the town dump, at the town forest. And I would say right now, we barely have a record that goes back beyond 2016, because storing records in an unconditioned, unheated, or unair-conditioned container, moisture takes over, mold, mildew infiltrated most of these documents, and they had to be disposed of because employees couldn't be subjected to handling these type documents. But why don't I stop there?
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, we have a motion on the table to move $1 million into our building fund. Oh, I'm sorry. Please, come on. I'm sorry, I missed you.
I'm sure this is over my head. Yeah, I'm sure this is.
Go. How's that? Is that better? All right, you just stand close to it.
Okay, for all of you who don't know me, my name is Elaine Byrne, I have been a member of the of Newbury's community for many years now. I've been on the Planning Board, the Conservation Commission, a member of the Board of Health since its inception. I was the assessor's go-for person, or gopher, I guess you want to call it, and I certainly know anything you want to ask about the state of the old town hall. I was there with Dave Caldwell many, many times, believe me, and it was kind of a mess. But the thing that bothers me the most about this whole situation is the state of affairs, and I'm just really concerned about the way people are treating one another. I'm really concerned about it. And what bothers me is people are losing respect for one another. And it bothers me because what I've been so proud about is what sets New England apart is our empathy for one another, our respect for one another. We are different. It just makes me so proud of being part of New England. We like one another. We face one another. That's what a town hall is for. You go there, you face one another. We may disagree, but at least we have the courage to go to a town hall and go there and state what we're there for. That's why we need a town hall. So why can't we agree on this? It's time to stop this bickering and get down to it. We need to go back to the town hall. And we can't put it off any longer. We've put it off long enough. 5 more years? Are we going to go 5 more years? My grandchildren will go to town hall. I'll be dead and gone. This is ridiculous now. I'm just tired of it. Totally tired of it. Ridiculous. I just want it over with. I don't want to go to Groveland to go to town hall. This is ridiculous. I mean, that's basically where we're going, isn't it?
Thank you.
It is. It really is. And I'm sorry. And the thing I read in the paper the other day is what set me off. When somebody said to me, why don't we do everything online? Oh my God, that was it. That was it for me. Pay our bills online. Don't bother. You know, I'm not going to do that. I am not going to do that. Why don't I go live in Nevada? Go live in Texas.
Thank you.
That's it.
Good job.
Karen Lepinen, 66 Central Street, Byfield. Karen Lepinen, 66 Central Street, Byfield. My question is, if the funds are moved, as proposed in Article 17, from our available funds to the town hall project, is that a restricted account that can never be reversed? Is that $5 million stuck there whether we build a town hall or not?
No, that we would, in Article 18, we would then move the money from that account to go towards the building project.
What if 18 fails or the town vote in May fails? What about that money?
We could then use it for other
come back?
means. Yeah, again, like with the vote of town meeting, we'd need to assign it to a project.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody understand that? If the project does not pass, the money would be used for general other expenses.
The money would just sit in the account. If we don't move $1 million, we'll still have $4 million sitting in that account. If we move the money, we'll have $5 million. If we move the money and approve 18, that $5 million goes towards the cost of the building and reduces the amount that we would take out in debt.
Hi,
Hi,
you're up.
good evening. My name is Josette Walker. I live at 173 High Road. This is my first time ever addressing a town meeting, but I've been coming for 40 years. So, the reason I am speaking tonight is because I feel it is very important that the town of Newbury controls its own finances and future by owning its town hall instead of renting. The reason why own versus rent, I learned this lesson the hard way. I had a lovely, successful women's clothing store in downtown Newburyport, and everything was great. But within a few short years, a developer came to Newburyport, purchased many of the buildings, and mine was one of them. And then very quickly, the rent went up, common maintenance fees went up, and soon my triple net responsibilities started to escalate with each lease. By the time I closed my business, my rent had more than doubled, and the common maintenance fees had quadrupled. There were times I felt that my business was paying the majority of the maintenance of that building. So, in closing, I believe it is very, very important for Newbury to be in control of its own town hall and the sequence of all maintenance, repair, and to know that you have an opportunity to own your own location. Had I had that opportunity, I would have snapped it up. But we have an opportunity right now to build a town hall, and we need it now. We need to do the decision now, tonight. We shouldn't put it off any longer. It's been put off long enough. And like the lovely woman that just spoke before me, she doesn't want to go to the computer and pay her bills. She wants to walk into town hall. And my very first experience moving to this town over 40 years ago was walking into the town hall and being greeted by everyone in that town hall with respect. And they open-armed me. They wanted us in the community, my husband, myself, and my children. And for those of you who don't know, my husband is Jeff Walker, the selectman. So I've heard all about the town hall. And I've known for a really long time we've needed it. Had we made this decision for a multiple-use building many years back, we wouldn't even be discussing this now. But we can't put it off any longer. It's just kicking the can down the road. We just need to do it. And it's not that hard. We have wonderful people that have put it all together for us. Look at how wonderful everything turned out for our fire department. So think about that when you vote next on this next article. Thank you.
Thank you. So I just would add here, just one thing here. Many people that can want to speak is fine, as long as it's new information. As long as we're not repeating anything. Thank you.
All right. Dale Williams, 12 Scotland Heights. First of all, I'd like to thank the selectmen, the town administrator, the finance committee. This town has never been in as good a shape financially, and I've been here 30 years this year.
True. Very true.
We have a lot of projects behind us that we've completed, from the police station to the roads. We have the lowest tax rate in Essex County. The lowest, right now. We're in the top 10% of the lowest in the entire state. We are run very lean. For me, it's a badge of honor to tell people I live in the cheapest town in the state. We have 2 red lights in the whole town. But we do our business. We're better off than we've been for 30 years, and I just wanted to thank the people that are responsible for that, including everybody here that's paying their property taxes every year. Let's go it. The time is right. Let's vote for it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chris Rooney. I live on 3 Graham Ave, which is runs in parallel with Morgan Ave. And Bob, I mentioned this to you, you're a great guy, but during that police building construction, you know, there was a lot of shaking in our house. We noticed things that we didn't notice during our inspection pictures and things like that. My wife and I dumped our life savings into that house. It was an old house and it looks really good, but you know, we did our best with the foundation. Now I think I have some cracks in my foundation, and trying to get some agreement on what the correct path forward for that was very difficult. Dealing with folks, everybody was really nice, but at the end of the day, nothing happened. What can we guarantee to the people who live in that surrounding area that, you know, there's no damage caused any type of seismic activity to ensure the street isn't being used as a, construction truck turnaround, barreling down. There's a lot of kids playing now, and I have a 7-month-old down too, so, 7-month-old, so it's, that safety aspect of being a parent's kind of prevalent, and seeing trucks barrel down there was a little concerning as well. So just trying to understand what this project does to that surrounding neighborhood right there, and what type of guarantees do the owners of that property have in case anything happens during this construction. That's all.
Good question.
So, excuse me. So on the police station, our soil conditions were less than perfect, and we had to put in geopiers. It's basically boring down on the ground 30 feet till you get good, stable and bearing soil, but it creates a lot of vibration, as my good friend mentioned. We've already done the geotechnical borings on the corner of High Road and Morgan Ave, and the soil conditions are normal. So we're not going to need any type of geopiers. It'll be a traditional spread footing, foundation, normal excavation, but no pounding like you'd see with the geopiers. I think having the police station right in the neighborhood, we'll be able to manage the traffic the best we can. Construction sites do take over a neighborhood, there's no doubt about it, but it doesn't mean that it can't be managed.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, we have the motion on the table, and we've had the discussion and debate. I am just going to ask, though, that Jeff, would you just read that article again?
The motion.
Just want to make sure everybody's clear on this.
I move that the town transfer the sum of $1 million from free cash to the town hall project account.
Thank you. We've had a motion and a second, and we've had some discussion and debate. It's time to vote. All in favor, raise your hands. Wow. Okay, thank you. All opposed? Is this 2/3 or simple? This is a simple majority, and it passes. Thank you. I'm sorry? I'm sorry? You want to count? It's a simple majority, and it's pretty clear we have a simple majority. Thank you. Okay, so we don't have a machine. We could do a count. I don't mind wasting some time. I really don't. But I would like you to please again, all in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? Okay, are there 7 people that think there wasn't a majority there? Okay. So, I need people that think we should recount to come forward. I don't see hands. I'm sorry? How many people think we should recount? That's a lot. Okay, we're going to count. I can't hear you, and if you want to say something, come up and speak into the microphone. Okay. We've got, John, you got the back 5? You're going to take the front 5? Over here? You're going to take the front 5 rows? Okay. And then the back? You want to take the back 5 rows? Yeah. Thank you. Huh? Yeah. Okay, I need one counter over here.
Mary?
Can we do it? Thank you. Thank you. Over there, that side. I need a counter over here on this side. One counter. I'm sorry? She's going to handle that side. I need a counter over here for this side. You've got the front 5, but I mean on the back, the rows behind you. Okay, thank you. Now we need 2 counters on each side here. Dr. Spanger, you've got your side, please. Who's on the other side over here that'll count that side? Okay, thank you. Take the right side. Over here, I need 2 people over here. One on each side. What's that? We had 2 people that already...
Mary Leary.
Mary Leary. Where are you? Mary Leary.
Mark Yelnick.
The back left side.
Mark Yelnick.
And on the right side? Who? Mark? Take the back right side up there? Yep, up on the hill? Okay, thank you. Okay. All in favor, please raise your hand and keep them up until you're counted.
Yeah. Why don't we count over? Want me to count them? Can she? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
After he's counted you, put your hands down.
9 in this bathroom.
Yes, yes. I will count back here.
Can I take
Who's doing it?
Gretchen did.
Oh, Gretchen.
So we're all counted?
Don't forget us. Don't forget us. Did you get us?
No, Gretchen.
Gretchen's got us.
We're all counted?
Well, the people that have been counted are taking them down. Only the people that have been counted. Unless you have been counted and you're sure you've been counted, keep your hand up.
Have we been counted, Gretchen? I counted us.
Would the counters please come forward and give the numbers that they have to Gretchen?
Anybody counting us?
No, not yet. Just the yeses. Nope, to Gretchen. Thank you, guys. What's that? Oh, thank you, thank you.
They're still counting. They're still counting.
Think about it, talk to Jeff, see what he thinks, and JR.
Give the number, okay. All right. Everybody back, yep.
What do you think about all the no's? Have the count about,
Okay, counters, you're up again because we're now going to do the no's. Put your hands up, the no votes, and keep them up until you're counted.
what did he say? No. Oh. I do. Do we have the nose? Yeah, get all of them and I'll add them after.
You get them all?
Where they were expecting to vote.
Get them all?
Oh, wait, we got more? You were. Why don't we see what the count is? Lisa, let's see what it is. Let's see what it is. That's going to be added twice.
This will tell us.
I got 296 twice and 201. So this is 4 and this is against Lisa. That's the numbers that would make a difference in one vote. What's the difference?
We have 298 yes. We have 201 no. Motion passes. Article 18. Alicia.
I move that the town appropriate $11,775,000 to pay the costs of designing, constructing, reconstructing, furnishing, and equipping the new town hall, including the payment of all costs incidental and related thereto, and that to meet this appropriation, $5,080,796 shall be transferred from the available funds. $441,276 shall be transferred from the amounts originally borrowed to pay the cost of the police station project, and which are no longer needed to complete that project. And the treasurer, with the approval of the select board, is authorized to borrow $7,252,928 under and pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 7-1, or pursuant to any other enabling authority, and to issue bonds or notes of the town therefore. No amount shall be borrowed or expended for this project unless the town shall have voted to exclude the amounts required to repay any amounts borrowed pursuant to this vote from the limitations on the property tax levy set forth in General Laws, Chapter 59, Section 21C, also known as Proposition 2.5. This is a 2/3 vote required.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Discussion or debate?
Jim Moran, 104 Elm Street. A few questions. Has the building committee got the Fogarty estimate yet to verify any of these costs? The question was the Fogarty estimate to verify the construction cost.
The contracts who hires Fogarty and the other other engineers updated our costs. That's their work product. We updated our cost from the $10.8 million to the $11.5 million based on the 2 points of direct construction cost and breaking out the removal of the building.
Do we have a copy of that information and available to the public?
No, we do not.
We don't have a copy. All right. Second question is, are there alternates going to be included in those prices? Is it included now, or will there be?
At this stage, no alternates are included. There'd be more the design, development, or construction drawing stage.
Thank you. That's it for questions. Thank you. My vote is no on Article 18. The town offices can remain at Kentway for now with no major impact. Other major debt exclusions items exist. The town hall plan is a bad plan. The building is too big. The cost is too high. The building will sit empty 75% of the time for the next 100 years. The planning department says there's no future growth on the horizon. Thank you.
Otto.
Good evening. My name's Otto Kinzel. I live over at 42 Caldwell Farm Road. I just had two comments and one question. I was on the police building committee when it first started back in 2016, and we had appropriated $5.5 or $5.6 million to build it, with another $1 million to go to the town hall, which the latter never occurred. But what concerns me was the 5.6 obviously grew to 8.2. So I'm a little concerned that the 11.775 is a targeted number and will exceed that again. Second comment was when the finance talked about the cost of doing business at Kent Hall. The cost of doing business there is the rent, You can't throw in the utilities as an expense because you can't say that inflates the number there because you're going to have the same utility number wherever you put that building. And the third part is a question is, what is the debt ceiling for the town, especially knowing that Triton is going to have a major cost coming up and Whittier will also, and knowing that the state is going to contribute to both of those facilities, and that Triton will be divided by 3 for the 3 towns and Whittier will be divided by 11 for the 11 towns. But do we get close to a debt ceiling, or do we have a debt ceiling, and will we have problems going forward?
The towns do not have a debt ceiling. And to be clear about Triton's, we have, the District Communications Committee and the 3 communities have put in a statement of interest with the state to have cost sharing. The absolute earliest, even if we are accepted this year, we were not. Triton's project was not accepted this year. We had to resubmit, and that was done in March. The absolute earliest that we would have anything coming before the town meetings would be the spring of 2026. So we're 3 years away from knowing even what a number would look like. So we do see that that is coming down. We understand that. However, it doesn't preclude that this is also a need that should be considered by the town. And the idea of borrowing $7.2 million at this point in time versus kicking this down into after the Triton number comes in is money that we will continue, this cost will probably go up, which is why we feel like it is a good investment for a long-term solution that will serve us beyond the toss of the bond.
And I'm not denying it's a good investment, but saving, say, $200,000 a year in rent is out of the operating budget, but we still have a debt service of $200,000 to $300,000 for the $7 million that we're going to loan. So it's just one shakes out against the other.
My name is Richard Paul Roach. I'm a newbie in Newbury. I live at 4 Gadsden Lane, but I'm professionally a financial advisor and look at things like capital outlay. Much more importantly, I'm a former member of the Massachusetts General Court. I believe that Proposition 2.5 was ill-conceived then when it was passed in 1980. It was a knee-jerk reaction to Proposition 13 in California. As a new resident here, my children and my granddaughter do not live here, but this is a long-term investment commitment that the town would make to make it an attractive community for people like myself and others to come and reside here and grow our children and our grandchildren and our yet unborn children and grandchildren. And over the course of 60, 70, 80 years, it's a very, very small investment to make. As a financial professional with this town's AAA credit, AAA rating, now is the time to make that commitment. No one knows for certain what will happen to interest rates in the future. I strongly support Article 18 and think it's a very prudent investment for this community now and in the future.
Again, I'm just going to ask that as long as you have something new to talk about, you're welcome. All of you.
Hi, my name is Sharon Gallagher. I live at 63 Cottage Road. We've been at the brunt of this town on many different occasions. My question is why the fire department was not included in this plan as it was in the original plan, okay? And why not the schools? Why is the town hall more important than the schools in the fire department? I would ask everybody to go in that restroom. Go look at the stalls all rusted. Are the kids eating this when they're sitting on the toilet? Are your kids sick? Go look at the stalls in just this school. Why was the fire department not included in this? I say no. This is highly overrated. And everything is going online. Okay, we're storing things that way. We're doing a lot of new things differently. I don't think you're making the right decision. And I think there's a lot of money that's not accountable here.
Ginny Noyce Thompson, 4 Noyce Lane, Newbury, Mass. Member of the sons and daughters of the first settlers of this town in 1635. We've got a lot of history here. I've worked for the town. I worked for them for 8 years full-time. I worked for the town part-time for many years as a consultant. I worked in that town hall. That town hall is not big enough for what we need. The construction of the building is not going to handle an addition to it. We need a new town hall. We've been talking about this for so many years, and I'm really getting sick of talking about it. It's time to get it done. Vote yes on 18.
Thank you.
Mike Doyle, 6 Morgan Ave. I have just 2 questions. Where's the COA going to go, and where's the PEG Studios going to go? Because those are 2 things that were going to be incorporated in the new town hall, and they're not, and we can't take any more building on that corner. So I'm just, if we're going to continue renting the COA, why not continue renting here in Byfield?
Yes.
He asked a question, nobody answered.
Yes, that's correct. Somebody want to answer that?
Mr. Moderator,
Question on Council on Aging?
I can respond.
Yes.
So the Council on Aging is currently sitting in rented space at 12 Kent Way. We have earmarked ARPA monies to get them, to move them out of Newbury Elementary School during COVID, and they're set for where they are right now for the next 3 to 5 years. We have earmarked monies in the budget 3 to 5 years out to pay their rent. The PEG Access Studio, as a member of the media committee back in 2012, 2013, we had dedicated monies coming in from the Comcast, what do you call it? The fund, what do you call the name of that?
Enterprise Fund. Enterprise
Yes,
Fund.
the Enterprise Fund, I'm sorry. So we have dedicated monies coming into that Enterprise Fund, and that account has been growing. It was always my hope that an organic group of citizens in the town of Newbury would have organically grown up and created a nonprofit similar to what happened in Salisbury with Salisbury Community TV. That money is sitting there with the hopes that that would happen. It never happened. We do have a public, educational, and government program. It is the municipal model right now, and we have Ethan, and we have that is our PEG Access person. He works with interns at Triton. We have a Channel 9 on as the TV channel as the government channel, and I believe Channel 8 is the Triton channel. So we do have a program here. Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'm on. Fred Thurlow, whoa. Fred Thurlow, 26 Marsh Avenue.
Excuse me.
I guess she's got to get in line.
You can come back up if you'd like. If you've got something new to say, you can come back up.
Mr. Moderator, Marshall here, Finance Committee, to respond to that particular question.
Sure.
Again, this goes back to the capital needs of the town, and so thank you for raising that question. We actually went to the fire chief to talk to him about the needs of the fire department, and while the past appetite for the town to remain combined facilities was extremely low, we asked the fire chief if the facility in Morgan Ave was in dire need of renovation or the facility. He told us no. We asked specifically about things that have been question, I'll give you the answer. And so what the chief has told us is we get the floor done, and that building is good for quite a few more years. We continue to look at all our capital assets to see when they have to be either repaired or replaced, and that certainly is one of them. Thank you for bringing that up. We have brought it up with the chief, and he has some items that we have done in the past, and one is due in this year.
And Mr. Moderator, I'd like to just jump on that as well. I did tour the Morgan Ave Police Station today with the Deputy Fire Chief.
Fire station.
And there is an identified need for the floor that's on the capital plan, but the building is the correct size. They're not going to outgrow that building, not anytime soon. The fire apparatus fits in there. They do need a little bit of upkeep, which is on the floor is on the capital plan, and there may be some, as capital planning process continues every year, there may be some additional internal things like, paint, or so maybe the bathrooms redo or something. But other than that, the difference between the town hall and the Morgan Ave Fire Station is the Morgan Ave station is the correct size for their organization. Town Hall currently has nothing. We're in rented facilities. That's the difference.
Fred?
Can we get about it here? All right. First of all, this meeting is an embarrassment to me, and it should be to the whole town of Newbury. What it took to get people in this building was ridiculous. The way the vote is counted is ridiculous. It's awful, and people are upset that. But with regard to town hall, this is too big a building for too much money on a postage stamp lot. That lot cannot handle that building. And I measured, and it's 1/4 of a mile to Newburyport. It sure is not centrally located. It's in the wrong place. That's all I have to say.
Hi, my name is Eric Groneberg. I live on 80 Main Street in Byfield, Mass. Just want to say first off, I have a tremendous amount of respect for the people who are here, our elected officials, and the work that you guys do. I think it goes underappreciated often. With that said, as a relative newcomer to the town, 2019, with a young family, in response to the gentleman who spoke earlier, talking about the benefits and the draw of a town hall, a town hall does not bring young families to move to a town. Their school does. I have a 17-month-old. And my wife and I are seriously considering whether or not we want to stay here because Triton needs repair. I think that's clear. The needs of a town hall, they're certainly there. They're important. I haven't heard a great understanding or explanation as to why Kent Way, the spaces there, aren't adequate. I visited there, went to a couple meetings there to listen in on things like this. Everything seemed great. I just asked myself, who really benefits from a new town hall? And it seems like the people working in government benefit the most. What does it offer me and my family? And I mean that with respect. Maybe there's another time, and I know this has gone on for a long time, this debate. So it's not like I'm against spending or against a new town hall, but it just seems like there are some really big costs coming down the line. And I know for my family, those are more important than a shiny new office space for people to work in. Thank you.
Yes. I'm sorry? I don't think so. Yes.
John Protopappas, 64 Cottage Road. So if I'm doing the math right, we're at $189,000 a year for Kent Way. If we round that up to 200, at 10 years, that's $2 million. At 20 years, that's $4 million. So if we bump that up, say $500,000, the free cash alone is over 20 years worth of rent at Kent Way. Now, I'm also a person who doesn't think that renting's the greatest long-term solution. What if we don't build this and the landlord knows he's got us over a barrel, so maybe those costs go up? Now, the other thing I want to mention is that we just put another $1 million from free cash. You guys have done a great job continuing to grow free cash over the years. And I know kicking it down the road, everybody's tired of this situation, but if we kick down the road a few more years and we grow that free cash for the town hall to $8-9 million, our debt that we'll have to borrow will be a whole lot less. Now, I understand costs will go up, but I don't think they'll go up $1 million a year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Okay.
I'd like to address the question about the rent. I think it's really important to understand that we've been operating on 3-year leases in that building because it has been a temporary solution. When we go out to bid, if we do not have a current project, the state requires that we go out to a competitive bid situation, which means we have to take the lowest cost bid. It may not be staying at 12 Kent Way. We do not control what that bid will come in. Yes, we could find a lower place rent. It could be in a completely different place. We would have to then absorb the cost of moving. We would have to do that every 3 years under the state. That's one of the reasons is that we do not have that sense of security. On paper, you can say, yes, we're going to move and it's going to be 3 years and we can do that, but it doesn't give us the long-term stability that having a building we would have would be there. Also, you're right, that $5 million is there now. We could wait and we could come to here 3 years from now when we're looking at a multi-million dollar for Triton at the same time and try to get a town hall passed then too. The need isn't going away. How we're paying for it, how we're saving for it may, but the cost of bonding, $7.2 million now, the average impact on taxes is going to be about $120 annually. It seems like it might be a good investment.
No, I appreciate the numbers, absolutely. So the COA, we've got how many years locked down over there, 2 or 3 years, and how much longer do we have left at Kent Way on the current contract?
The current lease expires in 2024, and then the operating budget that was just passed here already includes the lease payment for 2024. That would be right there. But I think Eric has another comment here as well.
Eric. Sure, right here.
Hello, everybody. I hope everybody recognizes me. I've been standing here before you. Eric Spahn, 14 Oak Farm Way. I've been at the Municipal Building Committee, Site Selection Committees since mid-2013. And in terms of proposing fire stations, police stations, and town halls, and joint complexes for the synergy of putting 2 buildings together and having savings of both building costs and operational costs. In terms of the last committee back in 2015, the rates were $350 a square foot for construction. Right now, with COVID, the supply chains, and costs, we're looking at about $700 a square foot. So from 2015 to today, the costs have doubled.
But do we think that's going to go down? I mean, I don't see it going to 350, but do we think it's going to get lower than 7 when the supply chain gets a little better?
So as being an architect in the industry in Boston for the construction industry, costs seem to be moderating, but they're not going down. And if there's a recession, they might recede a little bit. So if we have a project and we can move move it along and vote to have it, we actually might hit just a little bit. But in the construction industry, if you check over the last 20 years, the costs don't dip back down. It's not like the stock market down, stock market up. It's a level projection upwards.
Well, last thing I want to say is I think something that would help, and someone had asked about earlier, if we had more of a breakdown of the actual costs. I mean, just coming at us with a number, it's maybe a little hard to digest, but and it could be posted. You know, if we had a breakdown of actually what the costs are, that might make it a little bit more feasible for people to understand it, and that way we could actually see exactly what everything is costing. And I don't know that we need to have a debate on every single line item here tonight, but I know it would be nice to say. And the one thing I want to say is that screen's impossible to see from back there. So, you know, in the future, if we could do something, even with my glasses, I can't read the thing about the building.
The screen is an improvement over when we projected on the cement wall.
Well, you can't see, it doesn't matter what it's on. All right, thank you, everybody.
I believe Marshall has here's the cost you were asking.
Excuse
Can
me.
I have that?
Excuse me, sir. We do have a QR code, so if you have a phone, you can take a picture of the QR code over in the where you got that thing, and you can pull it up on your phone and make it bigger.
All right, thank you.
And it'll open up the spreadsheet that'll give you those numbers.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Moderator, may I make a comment regarding the town hall and what it means to the residents?
Of course.
Thank you. Last year, we held 208 different meetings in town hall. That was the Conservation Commission, the Planning Board, the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Historic Commission, the Municipal Building Committee, the Select Board, the Planning Board. And that's where the people do the work. You can't get projects, development, or out on Plum Island, you can't do anything without the Conservation Commission. That's why the town hall is important. I know there's some work moving online, and I know we pay our taxes online, and I get my parking sticker online, but somebody has to be physically at the other end, mailing out that sticker and processing payments. By law, the town has vital records that it has to keep. It has birth records, marriage certificates, death certificates. We have election laws. We have ballots that have to be kept in a vault. There are requirements for us to store records. Now, would it be great if we could digitize everything? Yes, and we digitize what we can, but Mass General Laws dictates what we can and cannot throw out. We have to keep it. So we're currently renting storage space that's not conditioned, and our records are getting destroyed. But they're your records too. So it's more than just somebody going to work to do I don't know what. There is work done, and there's value to having a people's house. This is where the people do their work. Right now, we don't have, the town of Newbury, a 400-year-old community, doesn't have a home. We're in rented space.
I am most inclined to cut debate off, but if you have something that's really new information, a new question, please come up.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Jessica McManus, 10 Old Farm Way. I have two questions. I'm a parent, and education is very important. So it's my understanding that Whittier is going to be requesting approval to move forward with a new building next year, and Triton's coming shortly after that. So I want to make sure that we are understanding that and we're financially prepared for all of that with a town hall. And my second question is about the rent. Has there been any discussion of a long-term renting option with the landlord?
Once again, the rent and the long-term leasing is that we cannot enter into, the select board and the town administrator cannot enter into a long-term lease. We have to do it under appropriations in 3 years.
And that's a law thing?
That's a law thing. Yeah, that's a law thing. Believe me, we understand that, but we do have to operate under the competitive bid process that is there today.
Okay. And then the financial question about the education.
Yeah, and the Triton and Whittier things are definitely both out there. As a parent and someone that values education, we do know that those are coming. Again, it's not to say that those aren't important. I have sat on the DCC. I have been in those conversations. I had felt sick when I saw the condition of Triton and walked through it. Our kids deserve better. Our kids at Triton, our kids at Whittier, and those things are real and they're coming. It doesn't mean that this isn't important too.
I agree. I just want to make sure we're ready for all of that, and something important for our children is not going to get shut down in the future because of this. Thank you.
Okay, I think we're done. I think we've heard just about everything. Almost. Want to come here?
No, I'm coming to you as a citizen of Newbury. Marshall Jesperson, 169 Elm Street, Byfield, Massachusetts. I've had the benefit of listening to all of this. And one of the things that has been clear to me is that some people are surrendering to the tyranny of or. Do we do this or we do education? And the people who got up and said education is important, it is vitally important to our town. But so is this. Taking care of all of our capital needs is what the town is trying to do. Not taking this one and beating it against that one. We are trying to take care of the whole thing. And because of that, we have a lot of work to do and have been doing it. These people have been doing it very well for years. I hope they continue to do that. But don't think because we do one thing, we cannot do the other. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I would just, we're done. We're done. No more. We're done. We're done. Thank you. You think you have something new to say?
Certainly.
You have something new?
Certainly.
Okay. What's new?
My name is Steve Mangin on 14th Street in Newbury. I've heard a lot of speechifying and fear-mongering, in my opinion, so I want to speechify about my fear, and perhaps town council can speak to it. My understanding is that if this vote goes down tonight, people may think it's over and not pay much attention to the election, and then the select board may think they can then turn around and say, well, we'll have another special town meeting so we can get the 2 votes we need for this to go through. I'd like the people to realize that if this goes down, that should be it, because you need 2 votes. If you don't get it tonight, it's over. My fear is that you'll keep on trying to resurrect it. So that's my speech, and that's my fear.
Let me just say one thing about that. There are 5,700 registered voters in the town of Newbury. There are less than 10% of those people here. So 10% of the 5,700 people are going to make a final decision. It should be decided at the ballot. That's just my thought. Let me also add one other thing. When we talk about it, we care about education, half of our budget, did everybody see that? 50% of our budget every year goes to education. Does that sound like people who don't care about education? Let me also add, that I have a bias. I have a serious bias because, I'm sorry. I'm not done. I'm sorry, but I'm not done. 4 of my kids went through the school system here. I'm not private schools. I'm not a neophyte. 4 of my kids went through the Triton system, Newbury L and Triton, and they are all doing extremely well. So that's what I would say. Thank you.
Mr. Moderator.
So the answer to the question, Mr. Mannion, is, the answer to the question is, it will go to the ballot. The Board of Selectmen will put it on the ballot, or have put it on the ballot. And the town has a right to come back for the appropriation. So there's a two-step process. The town meeting does the appropriation, and the voters at the ballot decide whether or not it is a debt exclusion. So if you said no tonight, and the voters say yes, the town certainly may bring it back to the voters here, the town meeting, to approve a borrowing and make an appropriation.
Thank you.
Mr. Moderator,
Over here.
Yes.
may I?
Sure, Chair.
I just want to give you my view of this issue from this side of the table. When I pay this rent, I feel like I'm burning your money. I'm burning your money and I'm burning my money. And my other feeling is we're paying for somebody else's investment, their cash cow. We're paying for the upkeep on their building. I don't want to pay for somebody else's investment. I want to pay for ours. The schools are important to me. I went to Triton, and things about Triton were tough then. It was before the first edition, the place that aged out. Triton's important. They have not conducted a feasibility study yet. They got to clear the bar in 3 towns. They're 5 years out. That doesn't mean it's not coming. It doesn't mean Whittier's not coming. But it's important. We're talking about $120 per year for the average household. And is it money we want to fork over? Is it money I want to fork over? No. But I look at these recurring costs and the throwing away of the money. And maybe it's the Yankee in me. But I want to pay for our investment. This is painful for everybody involved. There's no joy in this. This is a legitimate need, and it's important to slot it in now. It's turned into somewhat of a political football, this issue. It's fun to debate. It's spicy on social media. But the problem is, this is a football game that we're all going to lose. If we keep batting this thing around, there'll be plenty of things to argue about and bat around in the future. The time is prime right now to get this done. It's only going to cost us more as we go along. And thank you for everyone to come, and we've had a great turn.
Okay, it's time to vote. This requires a 2/3 vote. All in favor, please raise your hands to be counted. The counters, you guys have to count. Everybody, please, keep your hands up. I'm sorry? They haven't kept them up? Keep your hands up if you haven't been counted, please. Keep them up.
Ashley, put it up high. You know, this is what this, we have the majority. The majority of the people want
We got it? What's that? He's got the back 5 rows, he's got the front 5 rows, very clear.
Can you stop that flashing before I get to an epileptic seizure? Bring these seats flashing?
John, everybody, you guys come on up. You got the front 5, right? You did the front 5 rows. John, what did you count? You counted the back 5 rows, and you get the number that you counted. Oh, you did? Okay, thank you. Did you turn your number in? Okay, all right, thank you. Is that everybody? All of the, and again, I thank you, counters, thank you. Okay. Oh, all those opposed, please raise your hands and keep them up.
On 17.
Yeah, 298 yes, 201 no. So by my count, they need 333.
Including people that didn't vote.
Oh God, look at these people going before they even know.
No.
We're not going to get sick of this. This is
Okay, we're adding them up.
Can I see that again?
Final numbers, we had 245 yeses and 218 noes, and that is not 2/3. We still have some, hey, don't, well, no, everybody can't leave. Sit down now. We got more stuff to go through here. We got Article 19. Dana.
Could I have everybody's attention, please?
Hold on a second. I don't mind if you're leaving, but please be quiet.
Article 19, I'm going to kind of spin a little lighter note on this subject.
Gotta make a motion.
Article 19 supports our veterans. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. Motion. I move that the town accept Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 59, Section 5C, 1 and 2, which provides for an additional real estate exemption for taxpayers as defined by state law.
who are granted personal exemptions on their domiciles under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 59, Section 5. First paragraph to be effective for exemptions granted for any fiscal year beginning of July 1st, 2023.
Second. You have a motion? Seconded, okay.
Do I have
Any
a
discussion or debate?
Discussion?
You want to discuss this particular article? This one?
Yes, that's why I'm
Okay,
here.
go ahead. Go ahead.
My name is Craig Loth, Orchard Street, Byfield. I want to thank Colonel Parker for putting Article 19 on the warrant. Under state law, any veteran who's 10% disabled or greater by the VA gets an abatement of $400 from their taxes. Now, the town does not lose any tax dollars as the state reimburses the town for this abatement. Under the same state law, if approved by the town, the abatement can be increased from $400 to $800. So I urge everybody to vote for this. And again, the town will not lose any money. And thank you very much, Colonel.
Thank you. Any comments?
Nope.
Okay, let's vote. All in favor? All opposed? You didn't have to worry about it, my friend. Unanimous. Thank you. Article 20. Alicia, please.
I move that the town initiate the process as set forth in General Laws, Chapter 164, Section 134, to aggregate the electrical load for the town and authorize the town administrator to initiate the process to aggregate the electrical load of interested electricity consumers in the town and to enter into agreements for services to facilitate the sale and purchase of electric energy and other related services, in addition to adopt the resolution as set forth in Article 20 of the warrant.
Second.
Is Mark Capadonna still here? No? Okay.
Yes.
No. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Sorry. Come here.
Good evening. My name is Stuart Ormsby. I'm with Colonial Power Group, working with the town on this opportunity. Real quickly, what this would do, if you choose to move forward, it would allow the town to provide another option for electric supply as an alternative to National Grid power supply. National Grid would still be your delivery company, the wires, the poles, and so forth. This is simply the power supply. Currently, National Grid gets power supply for you, just running a process every 6 months. It's not a strategic process. Again, this provides another option for the town where it bands together all the residents and small businesses who are currently taking power supply from National Grid and forms a buying pool on their behalf. A number of your neighboring towns do this currently: Newburyport, North Andover, Salisbury. It's been pretty successful. A large majority of the towns in the across the Commonwealth do this already. Again, one important element to this for you to understand, this is what's called an opt-out aggregation. So in other words, all the members who are currently taking power supply from National Grid would presumed to be in the town program unless you elect to opt out. You're not kept in this program. You have freedom to leave without any penalty or fee. It's something you can bounce back and forth between National Grid and the program if you wish. Again, the idea is to provide another option and also provide some choices for you that could include renewable content if you so elect to do so. Again, by voting yes today, it just allows the select board members and the town administrator to pursue this as an option if they choose in the future. Thank you.
Quick question, Marshall Jesperson, 169 Elm Street in Byfield. What does this mean for those of us who have solar panels on our roofs and are shipping power out of our houses rather than into our houses?
Yes, Yes, thank you. Anyone who is participating in, for example, net metering because they have solar on their roof, they can still participate in this program. It doesn't interfere with that at all. You would still receive the same credits on your bills that you currently receive through National Grid. So you can still participate in the program without interrupting that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Any discussion or debate? All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. Unanimous. Article 21. Article 21 is JR.
I move that the town amend the Town of Newbury general bylaws by adding a new section 118, temporary repairs to private ways as set forth in Article 21 of the warrant, and to allow the town clerk to correct the numbering of the sections therein as may be required.
Second.
Discussion or debate? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It's carried. It's not unanimous, but it's overwhelming majority. Thank you. Okay. Now, everybody return your clickers when you leave, and I will enter, or would love to have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Hey, all right. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody.